Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. We've got some images to go through here. We are also going to jump into something that Cleber posted. So this is his comp script for the poker post. So this is, are you okay? Sorry, Mark. You all right? Oh, no, she got her mouse. Okay. We've got... So all of this looks really complicated, right? But this is a pretty common workflow for how you deal with breaking out AOVs. And the crazy thing is we've got all of this, but there literally is only one render. He's just got this render. Let's see if this will load. Oh yeah, here we go. We've got all of these passes within this one EXR file. So each light, different diffuse stuff, diffusion, reflection, refraction, specularity, different matte passes. We've got normal passes. We've got world position passes, all that good stuff. And one of the things about when you go to build it up is it's a pretty simple concept that gets complicated quickly. But basically you take the thing, you'll shuffle out one thing, like he's shuffling out just the diffuse pass here. And then you will remove it from the original image and then you plus it back in. So realistically, this and this should be exactly the same. You're just doing that so that if you wanted to only adjust the diffuse values, you could go in here with a grade node and just be like, okay, cool. I want to take down my diffuse value a little bit. And then you can adjust it from there. Does anybody have any questions about that? And then you just do it over and over and over again. This is all the GI, this is all the lighting, and then over here is like each individual light. Now, the one thing about what we were seeing from, this was yesterday's submission, is that there were a couple things that were just we talked about the visual complexity of the image and how we're trying to simplify some things. The other big thing was there was not any room in the shot for the fill value to go down. So I dug through this and there were a couple things that I uncovered that I highlighted bright magenta here to kind of help me understand them. So there are things that could be causing some issues. So basically we had this I took off. This one is this one, yeah. Let's see. Oh, wait, this one. Sorry. Just see this one. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it was this one. Okay, so this light right here is not doing us any favors. And I think that this is one that's causing that fill value to go brighter than it needs to be. Because this one doesn't really represent anything that would actually be happening in nature, right? This would just be if we wanted to boost them up a little bit. And I think that we want to, because also this light feels much bluer than the rest of it, and it's actually taking him off of this nice rich purple color. So I went ahead and eliminated that one, and I colored the backdrop on the wrong one there. And then additionally, we have, I was gonna show you this. There's a Spotlight Caustics 2. So just to show you that, we've got the caustic passes coming in here. We've got this kind of top down one, and this one looks really nice. But then when we look at this one is crazy. It's not bad. It's just, it adds a lot of very complex shapes to the scene. And what you can do is you could probably soften that a little bit. We could even do something we can add a glow node here, and just kind of diffuse it up a little bit more. We can take the brightness down and then kind of just really soften this, and then take this plus value and take that down too. So we don't quite get this as much, because it's not bad, but if one of our goals is to simplify the scene visually and not create more small shapes in a scene full of small shapes like fish and bubbles and all that stuff, that would be something that I would want to adjust. The other thing that I would watch out for was you've got this fog extra. And all this is doing is like, because it's just kind of like a constant color that's being overlaid over pretty much everything, right? And it's just kind of washing out the image a little bit. So I would, if you're going to do that, put it back behind the character or kind of give it some more depth space. I know we've got some in here, but it's not quite all the way there. I think because basically I think I just turned it off on the character for now. And then we can add in these extra like little glow lamp things here at the end. And then like what I have here is a little bit too dark overall. But I think it kind of starts to feel a little bit better than, and this is without that spotlight and without that overall haze and wash. We're starting to get some more richness in the character, which is what we really want. The other thing I didn't diagnose was this light. We'll see if we can find it real quick. There's a light that's causing those, you know what? You're probably not going to be able to find it quite quickly enough. But basically there's some light in there that's causing those really sharp shadow shapes. Oh, actually, let me look at this contact sheet. Bet you I can find it in here. That's causing some super sharp shapes in that one pass. Like this, like it might be, oh man, what's this? There it is. Which one's this? Spotlight back. So if I go into Spotlight back, that's not the one I was looking for. Yeah, maybe not. But even this one's creating some sharp lines down here, and we don't really want that. It looks good in here. Like I think it looks good on that window looking thing, but I would take it off on the rest of it because again, you just want to eliminate all super sharp shadows in underwater scenes because water's going to refract around that light source. So I think now that I have an understanding of your shot, I think that's a little bit more of how I would be approaching it. But definitely find ways to get some more richness and darkness in there. This still feels underwater. I would even, like I said, let me just try this real quick. Like try and work in some. One back here just so it doesn't cover up anything. Working some bright patches way in the background here. By the way, another node you should probably you could take advantage of is a glow node. I was noticing this on your volumetric lighting. You're straight. Actually, I have that in there somewhere. You're kind of straight blurring them a little bit. And let's see. Maybe I'll just blur this one too. That's funny. Why is it not going? There must be something going on after this. There's something. Do you see what's happening there? Like if I turn something that bright, it should be going white. Like it's really funny. Huh? Why is it just going blue? What is this value? I can't get any red value in there. That's really. So I'm looking down here. Oh, I see why. Because there just is no red value at all in this image. So even though I'm multiplying it by a whole lot, it's still not... Oh, crazy. Let me try something. Sorry, now I'm just being weird. So if I take this and multiply it by like 100 million, then I start to get some whites. Wow. Huh, that's really interesting. I haven't had that experience before. Okay. Well, that looks bad. Yeah, so that's actually a really interesting thing. So there's just like no red value at all back there. So trying to push that up a little bit. Basically, I'm just trying to get some more, like a brighter little shape in the background to create a little more depth back there, but that's okay. Yeah, so some more dark values in here, trying to find some more richness in the character, making sure that all the lights are soft and there are no hard shadows. Softening those light glows up a little bit. These. Man, I get lost in this comp. Yeah, like these guys. There it is. So the way that you've kind of got these, and then you grade them up, and then you blur them. So blurring is fine, but I did it here actually. So one thing that you could do is also you can glow it, and you can just have it be the effect only, which is kind of nice. Like it's the problem with blurring is it takes it and you lose some of the intensity, you lose some of the luminance in it, and it just starts to kind of get grayed out a little bit. So just something to keep in mind. You may want to use a glow node in there too. All right, cool. Sorry, that was a little long-winded, but let me know if you all have any questions about that. Okay, well, let's hop into today's. Justin, you are here. How's it going? We got the car moved over to the side a little bit.
Yeah, I got the car moved over. I did a higher res render because it did get a little muddy on that low res. Yeah. And then I really was working on the silhouette of the character so they read better.
Cool. And I like the idea of this moonlight up here. It's a little bit strong. I would take it down by about 40-50% of its value, but I like the position there. I think that's going to help get a read of the silhouette of both this tree and the roof. I would try and find a way maybe of getting a little bit of that street lamp into this tree, and maybe a little bit of a rim there on this, and a little bit of rim from the greenhouse on these over here. I think that using these trees as not only just a silhouetting element, but actually having some rims that cause some framing on them. Do you know what I mean? The rims on the side where the center of the frame, so that it kind of helps create a framing effect for the image.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that a lot.
I think the darkness of the character looks good. I think she's reading really well. Haze from the headlights I think looks good. There's darkness between them. You could try, just because the sky is taking up so much of the screen real estate here, you could try putting a subtle map in there, an image with some clouds or something. That could, it doesn't have to be super, because a cloudy night doesn't really show up too much, but just something in there to break it up a little bit. Because you already have some good value and color shifts between the warm tones, the green tones, but I just think that it still feels like an underlying just blackness behind it.
Yeah, so some detail in the back there. What about some volumetrics in there, almost not clouds, but denser fog with kind of layered? Does that make sense?
Try it. If I would do it, I would try it maybe even in the comp, or just something where you can kind of try and visualize it without actually having to do a lot of work to just to see if it works.
Yeah, fog cards basically.
Yeah. That could help. It's just especially down here towards the bottom, it starts to get dark down here along the horizon line. It would just be a little bit of haze or something in there. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on this? Yeah, it's looking good. You're making a lot of progress. You're gonna have this almost ready in time for Halloween. Yes.
Quick question: the rocks or whatever that stuff is, I guess it's rocks on the screen right between the house and the car. There's not. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what they are because there's no shaping or anything on them.
Are you talking about these right here?
Yeah. I know the front's kind of the fence, but there's nothing. It just kind of looks like blobs of something, and I don't know if it's supposed to be a rock or whatever.
That's fair. The way that there's a little bit of value on the front of the stair, and even on these fence pieces over there. But getting a little something on there. That might be a matter of adjusting the shader value on that, because it might just be lower than everything else and not picking up on the light.
I think that might be those grass cards.
Oh, that's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are.
Yeah, they're kind of wonky. I when I did mine both times, I just deleted them and put up got some plants from Quixel and put them in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now that you say that, it's in the bottom left too. I see it. They're just not working.
It's interesting. Okay, cool. All right.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, no problem. All right, Rachel, you are here. Hello, Rachel. How's it going?
Oh, going good.
Good. Great. Or Ruby, you're here as well. Are you available to talk still? Just because I think it's great having you on because you also lit something similar to this. I mean, you lit this asset, so you can provide some insight. So, Ruby, and sorry to put you on the spot. I probably should have warned you about this ahead of time. You were having a similar issue with the white fur here, that it was starting to look a little bit thin, and then or something that was kind of making it feel a little bit dirtier. Do you have any advice on how to like, how did you get this how did you work with your white fur or feathers or whatever?
I think I bumped up the texture, and I also did like a pass in Nuke, like a little bit of comp just to keep it brighter, like cleaner white. I think it was maybe like a constant, and then I just had like the ambient on top. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah. And then also make sure, and this was a trick that we would always use at Blue Sky, was that the skin underneath, like underneath the fur, like the base skin texture matches the color of the fur, so that if we ever do see through at a certain angle, the color will match.
Okay.
I think because I think that'll be something there, because this character is hard because it's black and white, which is like the two. Like if it was all black, that would be hard. If it was all white, that would be hard. But being both black and white makes it doubly hard. All at the same time. So because what we're looking for is this white fur to be nice and clean, and then for this black fur, I think your diffuse level is really good. I think there's a little bit of light in there that you can see, but it still feels black to me, which is great. From there, it's just a matter of getting some and this might be a matter of adjusting the fur shader as well, but like seeing if we can get some specular highlights, like dark hair, dark feathers, dark skin. Whenever we're lighting it, we really try and lean on the specular values to get extra shaping in there.
Yeah. I was having trouble with the shaders, but I hadn't messed with it too much because it was hurting my brain at the time.
Yeah. That'll definitely do it too. For the leaves here, I'm wondering if we don't have double geometry. Just because I'm seeing a lot of like these shapes that kind of come up sometimes when there's like two leaves on top of each other and the renderer doesn't know which one to do. So just double check and make sure that we don't have that. And then, even though this is a daytime scene and the sun's going to be bright and we're probably going to be a pretty small radius, we don't want to see because some of the shadows in here are very sharp, like this one here and then the shadow down here. We just want a little bit of softness in there.
Okay.
And then for I would also consider doing this, just thinking of like a color scheme standpoint. And Kat, I think you mentioned this in the comment, but I wonder if shifting, because we have a range of greens that we can do with leaves, and yours is pretty on the yellow end. We can push this stuff more into not quite this far, but like into a bluer realm for the add just more blue value, and then when we have the character from there, then the yellows from the character have a tendency to pop off a little bit more.
Okay. Because that's why I added the branch in the background, because I wanted like the bright, warm tone scene, but then the beak was blending in with the background too much.
Yeah, it's smart. I also think we can probably get, if you can, this branch here that's kind of vertically running through it, we can probably get rid of that, because that one's not really doing us any favors. And then so we'll get the color of that, make sure it's not double geometry, soften the shadows, and then is the background an image behind?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We might just want to blur it. Make it out of. I was gonna give some notes on that, but I think just blurring it will do the trick. It's amazing what depth of field blur can do. It's like, yeah, you don't have to do any of the other stuff because you can just blur it. Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on this? And then at some point we'll want to do a little extra work on the eyes too, kind of make sure that those are good. But that's more like fine detail stuff. We can get into that later. All right, cool. And then watch out for the. Did I do this? Let me see. There's a little red something down there in the corner. Just watch out for that guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't see that.
A little stage hand has left themselves in the shot. All right, cool. So, all right, Ruby. Perspective is looking a lot better. Characters reading a lot better. Talk us through what you got going on.
So I added the reflections of the windows in the deck, like over the deck, and I blurred the foreground, like the tree and the grass and all that. I put some like the haze around the ghost, and I made it also darker. The figure is darker too, to like kind of pop more against the haze and the glowiness that's happening there. I also fixed the highlights that were in the roof, and I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, this is looking a lot better. This is looking really good. I'm trying to. I'm just playing with an idea because when I was looking at it, I was just thinking that I was trying to work some more dark values into the surroundings a little bit. Let's see. I think that by darkening that the environment, basically everywhere but her, up a little bit, kind of really helps us center in. But I think the haze is great. I just think it's a little bit too heavy at some parts, and we're missing out on some of the darker values. And I wonder if we can take her. She might even have just like a touch more room to go a little bit brighter. And now we have is just kind of flipping that balance a little bit more. And now she's like the real, because she's almost like a light bulb then at that center point. Yeah. It's also just a little goofy thing up here. Just want to watch out for. I don't know what that is. On the tip of the house. It looks like just a little reflection of something. But that's all I was thinking for this. If you have some, maybe let me try this too. We might want to go a little brighter on these windows from the house too. Just because, like, again, without much geometry in there, it starts to just feel like kind of flat shapes. And I just wonder if we don't push that, like make those glow a little bit.
Okay.
And then I can just do this. I can just add this. I think that's too saturated, but like pushing those a little brighter so they're it's more of like a glowy effect.
Okay. Wouldn't that like kind of
Take away from the character?
kind of yeah. Where it's complementing.
Yeah. It would take away a little bit. I'm trying to think. Is there a, let's see if I do this instead. If we put the color more in line with the hero character, is that? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Did you have a reason why you wanted that to be a different tone?
No. So I kind of shifted over the past of iterations with the colors. It was greens and purples, and now I'm more like golden yellows and
No, I mean,
mix
like,
of
and
purple.
I'm definitely not. Yeah, I'm definitely not saying you should definitely go this way. I'm just like giving you some options because I think, like, if we wanted to, we could make it all more of her hero color, and then it's like, because then it's kind of like this is her domain, like this is her house, right? Like she is the cause of all of this because all that color is tied together. Now, if you, because it changes the story a little bit because then it's like she is a part of, like she is her own thing, but inside that, like, how do I say this? Like, it's almost like she is a being that came from hell, which is inside the house, and she herself glows purple, but hell is something else. And in this case, it's like she is hell, and like she is the wrath, she is the, you know, the whole, all of it. So it's really, I think I don't know if you guys have any other, if you have an opinion on which one you enjoy more visually, but it was just a thought I had here. So I was just kind of tweaking around with it. But I think overall your structure of this shot is really, really good. I think it's really sound. I think the connection between the background and the CG stuff looks great.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody have any thoughts on the color?
I see what you're saying with the variation between the two, like that it does feel like two different stories essentially. I kind of like it all as one, but that's just because mine's all one.
We're just making them look alike. No, I'm just kidding. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Ruby, you can go either way with it. This is just to give you some options with your work.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, great, everyone. All right. I think so. We got Justin, Rachel, Theo is. I think. Did I miss anyone that is on live that wanted to show something? And if not, I can hop over into Forrest and Theo's and finish it up for the week. All right, let's hop over into Forrest. So I think the color, you added a little bit more saturation. Just so you guys know, if you're not seeing this, there's this crazy bot on Discord that tries to censor nude images, and every time we get like a naked animal, they like, whether it's a dolphin or like what was the other one that we had? Oh, like dinosaurs and the axolotl. It always gets blocked, so people have to send them to me privately. So this is,
yeah, I really didn't like the dinosaurs.
Yeah, it was like nope, hard pass on naked dinosaurs. We are a family organization here at Discord. So anyway, so if you don't see him in the group session before, that's why. So I think the extra saturation on the character's skin helped. I'm liking the values inside the mouth. I think that's nice and dark, but also retains that warmth. I like that we're getting more saturation as he goes back into the little, I don't know what to call it, like there's like his head, and then there's like the 6 larger chunks of head, and then there's the little tendrils of hair off the side. I like that the face is a little bit less saturated. It goes back into this, which is a little more saturated. I think the tendrils might, and we can double check your reference, but I think that those guys might be able to go a little bit more saturated too. Like the way that it's kind of like brighter, saturated right along the edge here, we might be able to push those into that level a little bit. But the big thing is just getting the variation in there across the skin. Like we're getting the little freckles, which is great. We're seeing the variation across the, like just not allowing the color to go too static for too long. I think looks really good. There's something. I'm trying to think if there's a way to make this look more underwater without losing some of what we've already built. Just play around with something for a second. And while I do this, does anybody have any thoughts on this? How are you guys feeling about it? Silence is a good thing. Let's see. Might just be a matter of getting some diffusion in there too. It's just kind of like what we were seeing. I have a little. It might just be, more atmospheric in the background too. That could be a way to go with it. Like if we, let's see, just play around with this. Let's do something janky. If I took this up here and then I took this level, push that mid-tone up, just looking at the deep background, and then Ooh, let's try our special magic wand here. Yeah, look at that. Ugh, it's so cool. All right. Oh, I didn't quite get the eyes. That's all right. I'm wondering if like just adding some extra haze to the background there might make it feel more underwatery. But yeah, I think it's looking really good. I think he's looking really cute. Again, for anyone who likes underwater things, you run into this issue of whether or not you add specularity to a character, because if you look at underwater reference, like there is no specularity underwater. It's all pretty flat. But I think it works in this case. So I think he's good and happy. I think he's looking good. Yeah, let's just make some last little tweaks, and then I think we're pretty close to calling this done. All right, cool. Let's hop over into Theo's. So Theo, you've got a lot of pretty stuff going on here. The warm light that's getting reflected down here, I think that looks really good. You're getting the haze back there. The one thing is, we'll see if this is true from a value standpoint. Again, yeah, like it's almost like there's something clamping the image and stopping it from going into the very brights. Like it's like but the second I do this, then everything goes very white. It's like, because there's a lot of, you can see it, and this level is perfect for this example, because there are a ton of values in this. What is that about? Like in the out of a 250 0 to 255 scale, in this 205, so like 80% white scale is most of the values in the image, and that's like all the snow. So I pulled in Juan's example from this, of doing this, because one of the things that I really liked about his was his variation in the values of the snow while keeping it nice and clean. So he's got some saturated colors in there, which I know that's not what you're going for. But if you notice the way that the snow on the center of the house is a shade brighter than the snow kind of down here and in the shadows, and it actually kind of builds up as we get closer to the house. So we've got these values down here, then these values in here. I would call these values on the trees right around it the next level, and then like this stuff right here on the house is the brightest. So in terms of snow intensity level, it's like 1, 2, kind of 3, and then boom, 4. So that's kind of the brightest, and that really helps us build in. So I think you need to kind of work towards something like that. Is have like slightly darker values around the periphery, and then build up more and more as we get in here. And then I think the level that you have right now works really good for like what did I say in the last one? Like a level 3, like close to the house. So what I think is you can go slightly brighter on the house itself, or like the central area. And like this can then go to the brighter whites. And by the way, what I'm saying is not easy to accomplish. It sounds easy. It's like, oh, just go brighter, but it's totally not. And then for this stuff, kind of keep this. We'll call this like, actually we'll keep it a little tighter. Like right in here would then be like level 2. And for now, we'll just kind of darken and allow that stuff to kind of be level 3. Might add another one there. But yeah, and then we can do another slightly larger one. Make that just a little bit brighter. And now what we're doing is we're kind of allowing those values to step away as we get further and further out. And so now it's like it's feeling us build up towards the center. And like again, once you start getting a little bit darker, it's starting to like gray out a little bit, you can start to work some cooler values in there too, if you want. And then that way, go back to the original. So now instead of it being kind of like that, it's kind of like zeroing us in on that one area. I mean, the way I did it was just kind of janky because it's like it's losing some of the brightness of this that you don't want to lose out on. But you get the idea of like of just like kind of stacking those values into the middle of the image. All right, any thoughts on Theo's before we break for the weekend? All right, cool. All right, well, thank you all so much for joining. It's been a fun week, and I look forward to seeing what you all produce next week. So Monday is November 1st. On Monday, so we've been kind of holding off on doing a lighting challenge. We wanted to do this lion climbing the tree thing, but it's proven to be very complicated. In that they were like, all right, Mike, we've got a fur cache coming. I was like, cool. And these guys made this amazing cache. But then when we wrote out the cache file, it was like 163 gigs, which seems a lot. Seems like too much for anybody's personal computer. So we are going to continue working on that. But in the meantime, for November, we've got a super cute lighting challenge that I've been sitting at it for a couple months now, and I absolutely love it. So it's a very cool, very simple scene that's super cute. That's going to be a lot of fun to work with. It's going to be a little bit of a lighting challenge, a little bit of a shading challenge, but I think you guys are going to rock it. And the artist that created the model is super excited. I'm super excited about it, and so I can't wait to tell you all about that on Monday. So enjoy your weekends, and I will talk to you all very soon. All right, be good, everybody. Happy lighting.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.